Every leader in America has been told the same thing: lead by example. My guest today says if you're leading by example, you are the problem. And that's just the first grenade that he brought with him. The second one, AI or die. Today's guest is Jeffrey Gitomer. He needs no introduction. He's the guy who saw sales trainers who couldn't sell, so he became the salesman first. And then he wrote the book. He wrote the Sales Bible, the Little Red Book of Selling. I think he sold over 5 million copies of that one. 71 times on the Wall Street Journal bestseller list, 14 languages. He's in the Speaker Hall of Fame. He's trained all of the biggest companies with his practices. He is the hot ticket. And guess what? He's not done. He says if you're leading by example, you are the problem. And if you're not building with AI, you're already dead. Jeffrey Gitomer, welcome to Leadership Live. And what's the problem with lead by example, man? You're throwing grenades at us.
Because leading by example is as stupid as having frequently asked questions on your website. It's 30 years old and no longer valid. If you want to be a great leader, you set the standard. You set the standard for your company. You set the standard for your marketplace. You set the standard for your customers, and you especially set the standard for your competitors so they hate you. I want my competition to hate my fucking guts, because if they do, it means I'm winning. If I hate them, it means they're winning. So I set the standard.
Setting the standard. When you say set this, okay, so setting the standard, would you say then that, is it that lead by example? Is it just an old way of thinking? Is it just something that makes people too busy?
No, it's automatic. It's automatic. You don't have to say you're doing it. Either you do it or you don't. But the actions that you take will rise you in the marketplace to a point where you're the it. Apple became the it. Didn't they?
Oh, for sure.
How'd they do on the iPhone? How'd they do on the iPad? How they doing on the laptop? I'm on an Apple laptop.
Mm-hmm. Same here.
Yeah, everyone is. Was a fucking brain.
Okay.
Am I allowed to swear, by the way? I forget.
You know what? Bring it. We don't normally, but this is the Jeffrey. Here's what I don't want. I don't want filters, because I feel like when you have to overthink something, what happens is it's not the real you. I want unfiltered.
No, I'm pretty spontaneous.
As my friend says, lucky strike, no filter.
Yeah, exactly. I had a buddy who smoked Luckies every morning for 60 years. And before his feet hit the ground, he had a lit cigarette in his mouth. And he lived into his late 80s. He coughed a lot. But listen, everyone has their thing, their vice. I've never smoked, and I don't drink anymore. I've never had a mixed drink, and I only drink wine when I go to France because they have wine.
Yeah.
Talk
to me about this. Talk to me about this standard thing, though. Like in my mind, again, there are. I do think we're coming out of an era of what business building was, and we're in another place where almost every single person can be their own business center. And
Correct.
One of the things that people grapple with is like, I got to do it all. And then if I got to do it all, do you think they can be the standard at anything? Or like there's almost a hierarchy that I feel kind of flowing from what you're saying here.
I don't want to be political about this, but let me share a couple of things that I think will help you. A leader who sets the standard never has to put an ad in the paper for a job. People who work there create buzz. You got to work in my company. It's the greatest. My boss is the greatest guy in the world. And all of a sudden you get applications. You think Elon Musk puts an ad in the paper saying help wanted at Twitter? You think so? Or do you think there's people lined up the door down to China?
Okay.
So I think you have to look at it from a standpoint of this is the way you have to act so that the marketplace recognizes you. Not you recognizing the market. That's over. That's way over.
Interesting.
You create the law of value attraction, not the law of attraction. Big difference.
Tell me the difference there, because a lot of people want to talk about the law of attraction. What's the law of
Well, the
value
law of
attraction?
attraction is you're out there trying to get people to like you or follow you or identify with you. But if you put value out on an everyday basis, people will be attracted and call you.
Mm.
I'm going to make a brag, okay? I'm a writer. I've written a lot of books. But what you don't know is that I've given 2,500 corporate speeches. How many sales calls did I make to book those speeches?
Really?
Because I have the law of value attraction out there. People read my stuff, they like it, they call.
Okay. All right. Okay. So it's interesting because we do have to go back to the root of that, right?
2,500 speeches over a 20-year period of time, no sales calls.
That's insane, Jeffrey.
It is insane because people have you have to send out postcards and you got to call speaker bureaus. Like, never did that. Ever. I got a call from the Washington Speaker Bureau one day about 25 years ago. And the guy says, I own the Washington Speakers Bureau. I have no idea who you are, but I have to hire you. I said, what's up? He goes, well, my customer said either you or he's not doing business with us. And okay, I'm available. But your rate just went down.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. There's some things that are in here, and a part of this is a theme, Jeffrey. If we look back even over your career in life, when people would say make a sale, you're like you didn't stop at the sale. The whole goal was open. Like, you're not closing a sale, you're opening a relationship. That was one of the first things I ever got from you.
Well,
But it's also it's a deeper connection. You're going past the finish line of where other people are stopping in everything that you've done.
there's this secret to this. And I used it on you when we very first got on the phone. First question I asked you was, where did you grow up? Not where are you from. Where did you grow up? Because that creates a memory. You told me about your marriage. You told me about your kids. I already had a wealth of information to talk to you about way before we ever started a conversation. With one question. Not where are you from? Where did you grow up? Because that creates a whole frame of mind that's different than where you're from. Just think about that. It's so subtle, but it's so accurate. It's so real. So I tend to start with something that is emotionally engaging and then go from there.
But you don't just end there. It's almost like when we're talking about this, this isn't just be a company, but be a company that generates buzz. All of these things almost require more from a person. And so now we're talking about actually being a standard or setting a standard or being different. Like, well, how does someone go about that? What are some examples you've seen? You mentioned Apple, you mentioned you. What are some ways that you can say this is how you freaking make a standard and plant it?
Have you ridden in a Tesla?
Yeah.
How's their dashboard doing?
Clean.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Okay, so they set the standard. And they also set the standard by saying, oh, by the way, you need a $100,000 car, just click buy now. No sales guy. So they reset the standard. For 100 years, car dealerships were pissing off customers, having sleazy sales guys coming up. Are you looking for a new car today? Did you want to lease or buy today? You have a trade-in today? What's your budget today? If it wasn't for the word today, they couldn't even talk. But Tesla just has a classic car and a website, and people go there, click, and say, put this in. Yeah, put this in. And then they buy. And car dealers are mad.
Seth Godin has he says that we must become remarkable, and he says that the meaning of that is like you just become something that is worth remarking about. And I know you're about to chop off here, but how can we become how can we become remarkable? Because that's what it sounds like. Become remarkable, be different. There's like different is better than better.
The first thing you have to do is identify where your zone of genius is. What do you do that's really remarkable? What do you do that's really well? And then you go out and you buy a half a dozen books on creativity and you read them. Edward de Bono, Michael Mahalko, people that write about creativity. And then you go into your favorite AI platform, Chat, Gemini, Claude, whatever you want to do. You would say, hey, my name is Jeffrey, and I'm the best at fixing air conditioners, selling to old ladies, selling funeral lots, whatever it is. Can you please give me 20 ideas that would separate me from my competition? Used to be in the old days, you had to come up with the ideas yourself. Now you have AI.
Mm-hmm.
It's a blessing now. And what will happen is you can't use that. You use that to what I call, and this is huge, I call it thought sparking.
Tell me more.
You get their input and you look at it and you go, oh, I could also do this. Wait, I could do that. And you enhance it by talking about what you could do, not just what it does. Because and let me make a definition here, and then I got to break for just a minute. If you're using AI to come up with a subject line for an email, you're a fucking idiot. Let me just define that in its own capsule. What you want is to make it think. It's a thinker. Make it think for you about you. And if you understand that, then you're at the bottom of the totem pole. You can grow from there. Isn't that cool, that thought sparking? Like I can take any book in my library and I can just read the table of contents and it'll spark my thoughts.
That's exactly. So my thought is every speaker, every book, every author, all of this, the main value is what does it freaking leave inside of you when you're done? It's not about what the author said. It's about what you're saying about what the author said. What's in your heart? What's in your spirit still?
This is the best sales book ever. How to Sell Your Way Through Life by Napoleon Hill, written in 1939, the pivotal year in this country. And you go to the table of contents of this book, and this gives you everything you need to figure out where you got to go and grow. It also has the 28 qualities of a master salesperson. And quality number 1 is physically fit. That'll piss you off.
Yeah, well.
And so you have to look at this from the standpoint of, okay, not what does this do? Forget that. What is the opportunity? What can I gain as a result of this? And then all of a sudden, a subject line on an email doesn't matter anymore. Because if you have creativity as one of your zones of genius, you can figure it out on your own.
I think outsourcing creativity is the wrong thing to outsource. I think we should be using this as a creativity tool, not a. I've had a saying that says you're going to use this to be either robotic or bionic. And bionic is when you're improving what it is that you have and what you're bringing to the table. Robotic is like, I don't know, you're better than me, AI, so just do it for me.
Here's the deal. Do not think of AI as a tool. Think of AI as your partner, an equal partner. You think of it that way, you're going to win. You don't, you're never going to win. You're going to wonder about, okay, I need a title for my business card. You got any ideas? Yeah. Head non. Do you see where I'm going with this?
Oh,
I do the opposite from other people.
Speaking of that,
I'm going to give you the best example I've ever seen. On 9/11.
Hold that thought for a second. Can you let this go to voicemail? I need some explanation here. You ready? I'm calling you. Let it go to voicemail. There we go.
What are we doing? We just tell them, get them right in. Yeah, they can tell them to leave a message. Answer the beat. Or beacon porcupine. B. Which one? Oh, he's coming on, villain. He keep rolling around. We got light to tell, and Kiddo was gonna be here soon.
Jeffrey, this is a taste of. You're going to give me an example that's cool, but this was one of the best examples I had. Different is better than better. I'm taking that from Sally Hogshead. What? Can you explain that a little bit?
You have no choice. You're looking for someone to talk about you after it's done. When you finish a call with someone or a conversation with someone, they're going to say one of 5 things about you behind your back. Something great, something good, nothing, something bad, or something real bad. And you choose. Every time. And one of those 5 things will take place every single time. Do you know how many people call me, get my voicemail, and then 3 minutes later I get another call of somebody who they just want to listen to the voicemail? Who does that? So my buddy Steve Rizzo does all the voices. And I've had it for a decade.
Really?
Yeah. I used to say, I'm not here right now. Please leave your American Express card number and that expiration date, and I'll get right back to you.
Anything. I think Jeffrey, it may have been from you that I remember in sales that like you're ready for some of the things that everyone's going to ask you, right? People are going to say, well, how are you today? And so you need to have a couple of those quick things. If I was any better, then vitamins would have to take me, or if I was in, I don't know. I had a few of those, especially during the times when that was a common question. But you got to be different, right? Just like you did in the beginning of our conversation. It's not that you put me on my heels, but it was like you created the frame and you broke the bubble of normal.
Correct. That's my job. That's my job. Being different and being better at what the circumstances are. Because everyone's trying to get an appointment with the CEO, but most people don't have the balls. And so I don't want to make an appointment with the CEO. I want to get him on my podcast. Oh, wait, podcast? I don't have one. Do you have a phone?
Right.
Yeah. Do you have an internet connection? Yeah.
Right.
You're ready.
Yep.
So that's the deal. And most people, Donnie, they have no idea. They have no concept of how to be different because they've never read a book on creativity. Remember I said get half a dozen books on creativity? Start from there?
Yep. So create a buzz, become remarkable. To do that.
Create the beginning of a reputation.
Okay. Find your zone of genius.
Be viral.
How do you do that? That's great.
Social.
Be viral. Like, how do you be viral, Jeffrey?
One person passes your message on to someone else.
Okay.
That's the beginning of it.
Do you request that? Do you just have to be funny? Do something different? Like, how do you be viral?
Hold on a second. Do you think you're going to take my voicemail and tell somebody else to call my number to hear it?
There you go. Is that viral? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you need
shareable.
How did the Little Red Book of Selling make the Wall Street Journal bestseller list? And I'm going to correct the number. 103 straight weeks. No one will ever break that record for a sales book. 103 straight weeks. All by word of mouth or by word of mouse.
Why do you think that we're not, like, you created an experience, by the way. That's what that does. You invited someone into something that was different. Why do you think that we are not doing that? Because AI should be empowering us to do that. Do you think that most of us are we selfish? Are we scared? What's keeping the average person from being exceptional there?
Say that again. No, let me tell you. The average person goes home and 9 o'clock at night watches some kind of television like a fool.
What's the alternative?
They know what's on. They're watching The Bachelor or some stupid thing, and they're pissing their time away.
Okay.
There's 3 uses of time: waste, spend, invest.
Okay.
You waste your time on Friday night at a bar drinking. You spend your time watching a TV show or hanging out with your family, or you invest your time reading a book about how to get better.
I guess it depends on what you're optimizing for, right? If you're
Bingo.
optimizing for the wasteful fun, whatever, then or
I represent the Old Testament,
okay.
and on my way to Temple University in the morning in the 60s, driving across the Delaware Memorial Bridge, there was a big, one of those places where drunk people go. Like I forget what they call it, like a mission. They call them missions,
Uh-huh.
where you can go and get saved and that kind of thing. And there's a huge neon sign that said, Jesus saves. Underneath of it, some kid had climbed up on the roof and on it with a can of spray paint wrote, Moses invests.
Was that kid you?
No, it wasn't me. And it was in, obviously before iPhones. Otherwise, it would have had 500 pictures of it. But that's the mentality.
Did you go to Temple University?
Yeah. 5 years. Never graduated.
Did you ever hear the Acres of Diamonds story?
Of course. I have autographed copies.
Can you
Russell
how
Conwell.
does yep. How does that align with that? Like that's been an impact. I didn't go there, but it's been an impactful story for me. How do you
What he basically says is everything you want's in your own backyard. You don't have to go looking all over the world for it. It's right in your own backyard. And what he said, it's in Philadelphia. So he said, create your own Philadelphia.
Exactly.
There's, the lessons there are unbelievable. Just by the way, on our next podcast, should we decide to do one, you're in my library right now. This is my personal development library, and this is my sales library.
This is a museum, Jeffrey.
Here's
This is like a
We also have a reading room where the 500 books that have impacted me the most live. And I have signed editions of Acres of Diamonds from Russell Conwell autographed on some of those shelves.
Really?
I also have Message de Garcia. Just stuff that you wouldn't believe. We can take a tour of that one day.
Oh man, I'm coming down. You're in Fort Lauderdale, right?
No, I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh, you're in North Carolina. Okay, it's about the same distance for me. I think it's Fort Lauderdale, a little bit farther. Not much. I love it. Yeah, for me, it's like I feel like most of us are looking outward for something when the truth is that there's something we have if we will just find it, cut it, polish it. So I keep some of these things around, Jeffrey, just as reminders of that. And I do think it is finding that zone of genius. Take me into the idea of AI or die, because there are ways like we don't have to become anyone different. There's some pretty dang valuable stuff buried in our backyard right here in who we are. And we can use, you mentioned using AI as a creativity spark, as a way to partner with it. What are the ways that leaders and entrepreneurs should be augmenting themselves, growing themselves, accelerating themselves with AI? And why would you say AI or die?
Well, for me, AI is not the next thing. AI is the now thing. And most people who are involved with that are socially inept, technologically inept, or scared. And so you have to look at, okay, who's embracing AI to a point where they can monetize it rather than use it?
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole deal.
What would you say?
Very few people. AI is pretty much primitive. It changes daily.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be playing with it all the time, or you're not going to be able to understand what's going on.
So play with it. That's one thing we need to do, right? Allow it to.
Yeah, subscribe to it.
Okay.
Buy
Pay
your
plans.
subscription to Claude,
Yeah.
or buy your subscription to Chat, or buy your subscription somewhere, and get a guy who can talk to you. I call my guys governor. I give him a British accent,
Governor.
and they call me governor. And
Mine is
if you're ever
Claudius
taking a cab in
Maximus.
London, where to, governor? I'm like, okay. They call everybody governor. I totally love that.
I named mine Claudius Maximus. So that's
That's
cool.
cool.
Since gone to Claude.
There's also, if you ever eat in a Chinese restaurant in New York City, if you eat there more than once and they recognize you, they call you boss. What do
Okay.
you want, boss?
Well, that should be my name then. Like they should call me boss. Mine calls me Donatello as of right now.
Yeah.
So
But that's the
Go ahead,
fun
sorry.
part.
What about the monetized part, Jeffrey? You said look for people who are monetizing, because I actually find that a lot of people are getting fatigued with AI because they're like, oh, I can do this or this or this. Is like, great. What are you doing with that? Because intelligence isn't just seeing paint on a canvas. It's knowing how to combine that for something useful
Correct.
or something connected and valuable to other people.
Okay, so here's the deal. Let's look at it from a big picture perspective. You have an appointment with somebody and you can make a sale.
Okay.
You're going to go into AI and say, what are the 5 best closes? No, you're going to go into AI and ask them to think about the business and the industry that this person is in, and what are the current trends? What are they going to need over the course of the next 5 years? And before you ever say one word about that bullshit, you call the person up on the phone and say, tell me where you grew up.
Tell me where you grew up.
And now I'm in an intellectual / emotional conversation with someone, and you can win because
Okay.
you probably going to find something in common. Now, let me take that deeper, okay? You're always taught in sales to find things in common, to build rapport. And one day, one of my best friends in the world is a guy named Wyatt Woodsmall, who you do not know. He taught Tony Robbins NLP. If you look at the book, Awaken the Giant, Tony Robbins thanks 2 people. Wyatt's one of them. And so Wyatt and I talk every day. Every night at 10 o'clock, we've talked for years on the phone. And he comes to my seminars every once in a while. And I was on this thing called Building Rapport and how you develop it. And he comes up to me after the seminar. He goes, you want to take that deeper? I said, what do you mean? He said, you want things in common, right? And I said, yeah. He said, no, you don't. You want shared values.
Okay.
So we both went to Notre Dame. That's a thing in common. But you both played football on the same team when they were undefeated. That's a shared value.
Okay.
You have kids. One of your kids is autistic. Oh, one of my kids is autistic. That's a shared value.
Interesting.
I met a woman from Charlotte in the airport one night flying back to Charlotte. She was in Chicago. I was in Chicago. And I'd always kind of liked her. Her name's Kathleen Hessert. She had a kid who was a runner, and she's a great speaker, and la-di-da. But I didn't know anything about her. So we're sitting in the airport like 10:30 at night, waiting to catch a plane back to Charlotte. I said, Kathleen, where'd you grow up? She goes, Haddonfield. Haddonfield, that's where I grew up. What street did you live on? And she said, Choose Landing Road. Well, I lived on the corner of Kings Highway and Choose Landing Road. And I said, what was the street address? And she said a low number. I said, oh, I grew up at that house on the corner of Kings Highway and Haddon. Oh, you grew up with the so-and-sos. She said, I used to play with them all the time. Turns out that At 10:30 at night, I discovered that this woman played in my bedroom.
Oh,
Is that cool or what?
that is super cool.
Okay, so what does that do to a friendship?
Oh, you're
What does that
immediately
do?
close. It's immediate.
Well,
Yeah.
triples,
Yeah.
quadruples.
Oh my gosh.
So you have to look at it from that standpoint. You have to look at it from that perspective and say, okay, now what? How will this monetize itself?
Mm-hmm.
What can we do together that might make a program or give a speech or something where at the end of it, there's a few bucks?
Okay.
Not a lot, just a few bucks.
Uh-huh.
A real good friend of mine, just friends. He's a lawyer. I'm a business guy, but we met at an event and we really fell deeply in like. Just for the audience perspective, I bat with the girls, so don't infer any.
If there was any doubt. Yeah.
Yeah. And for my birthday, he sent me a Steve Jobs business card, framed. Thought you might
Wow.
like this. Okay. For a decade, I called him minimum 6 times a year, sometimes once a month, to thank him for the business card. For years.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out that he's the best asset protection attorney in the world. And he called me one day and said, hey, I'm thinking about putting a peer-to-peer group together for lawyers just to talk to one another. Would you like to do the content? I'd love to. Okay, so that is the law of attraction. I didn't make the phone call.
Yeah.
But it comes from an extended perceived value perspective. I didn't call up and go, what can we do? I think we got something here. No. No, I just let it lay, and one day I got a phone call. And it happens all the time. All the time.
Yes.
But if you don't put value out there, I don't know whether you're familiar with Sandler Sales.
Sure.
It's like a sales organization, except they're full of shit. And they tell you, don't spill your candy. That's one of their slogans.
Don't spill your...
Don't tell your customers stuff. Let them buy it.
Okay.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Other than find the pain, which is their other thing.
Yeah.
Or an upfront contract, which is their other thing. So they have 3 things.
They
Find
do
the
only
pain,
have a few things. Yeah.
get an upfront contract, don't spill your candy. I'm sure they have a few other that are just as antiquated. But the bottom line is, I've given away stuff for years. My books are online. I have 1,000 columns online. I have 57,000 YouTube subscribers to 1,300 YouTube videos. You want anything of mine, you can have it. And what happens is people want more. And they call.
So generosity is a one of the parts, one of the
Give it
levers
away.
of the value equation. Give it away.
Give it away. And one of my speaking mentors was a guy named Charlie Tremendous Jones. Unbelievable character, holier than thou, wrote a bunch of books, great speaker. And he said, but he printed his own books. He had his own book publishing company. He said, Jeffrey, I've made millions of dollars giving away books. Why do I want to sell a book for $5 or $10 or $20 when someone can give me $10,000 to come give a speech?
Right.
Hello.
I mean, and you've described the majority. I have, listen, I wrote the best-selling book. Actually, it wasn't a best-selling book, not even on Amazon, but it's the most taken from the local Starbucks in our area. So it's
exactly
but the whole idea is that authors don't get rich by selling books. Now you've sold a lot, so that's different.
Yeah,
but the majority,
it's a business.
Yeah.
When you have enough books to sell.
Mhm.
But it's not a business when you have a book and you're trying to get traction.
But who cares? The point is you can take it and use it to your advantage and be generous and give.
Well, I have a game that I play when I'm on the plane. I try to sell a book to the guy next to me.
All right, I'm getting on a plane tomorrow morning. How should I play this game,
Your
Jeffrey?
book. And ask them what they do. You know, what do you do? If they're in sales, you say, wow, have you ever read this book? It's the best book ever on selling. And I hand him the book to let him browse it. And he goes, wow, this is really good. I said, you know, I know the author. And as a matter of fact, this book is for sale, autographed. So that when I'm dead, you can go on eBay. And I sell a book for $20.
Challenge taken. I'm going to do this. I'm flying to Boston tomorrow, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to take this book right here, and we're going to do that. That'll be fun. We'll
You
see.
just have to run with it. Now, I don't sell to everyone, but you know, you take 100 flights a year, you sell 50 books.
Mm-hmm. I love how you turn it into a game, and I think that a lot of people put themselves, Jeffrey, in a place to where it's life or death, or like this determines my value or who I am, or all of this stuff. But the truth is that when you're confident, you can just approach it as something that is just like, I'm just gonna have fun with it.
Exactly.
There are a lot of people being pushed back to this AI or die thing. They're being pushed into a corner by this thing, and they will split if they don't find a way to embrace this. What would you say to leaders that are either AI resistant or they are using it as something that does rather than something that they're growing their brain and their business portfolio with?
AI is relatively new. It is not a fad. It's part of the fabric now. Thousands of companies have invested billions of dollars to get to that next level in AI, doing anything AI. New language, new information, new way to contact, new subscription models. So it's not something where you can use it and say, no, this doesn't work for me. This is going to work for everybody. The only question is how. And if you quit early because you already, quote, know everything, you're going to lose to someone who gets it and uses it. You know, will AI replace me is a stupid question. People who use AI will replace people that don't use AI. That's
Sure.
a better answer.
Yeah.
And so you have to look at this from the perspective of, oh my God, what an opportunity this is. You know, in our purview, or AI is like 30 years old, but in our purview, it's maybe 4 or 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to think about the television when it was 4 years old, the radio when it was 4 years old, the telephone when it was 4 years old, the airplane when it was 4 years old. And now you realize, oh, wait a minute, this could be big. No, dude, it is big. It's bigger than Texas. And you have to decide you're going to either jump in or not. You can't not participate. You can't put it on a shelf. You can't, you know, and well, you know, it's for young people. I'm fucking 80.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And when I look, I use AI all the time. I'm studying it. I'm learning how to really use it in a way where my partner, governor, on chat or on Claude or on whoever, will give me information that will lead me to the next thing. I don't copy paste, but I want info. And it's the quickest way to find out if a restaurant's open or not, or what
That's
time the
true.
movie starts. It's amazingly fast.
Can you tell us about Gitomer AI?
Yeah. I've written 17 books, 16 ebooks. I have about 1,000 YouTube videos, 1,500 actually, and about 4,000 blog posts and columns. I put them all into one hopper.
The brain.
And that hopper is responding to me to coach me, to teach me, to give me information that I can turn into money. And other people want it, so I'm selling subscriptions to it. I'm also taking my library, which has about 2,500 books that are out of print.
Napoleon Hill,
Like that
for
Napoleon
sure.
Hill book I just showed you. This is
Yeah.
this is in the public domain. So I can scan this book into an AI program, which I'm doing,
Mm-hmm.
and then offering that out. You can buy a library card to my library.
Ooh,
Pretty
that's pretty
powerful.
cool. Super
Yeah.
powerful. So like a legal version of Ocean of PDF.
Bingo. And
Yeah.
but this is, hold on. This is not a PDF. This is OCR, optical character recognition. So you'll be able to read the book in any language instantly.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be read to you in any language instantly. So you now have the wealth of knowledge of the masters, the guys who started everything, the Orson Swett Martins of the world, the Samuel Smiles of the world. These are the people that are the foundation for what we're looking at today that somebody else writes about and thinks it's brand new and it's not even close.
The OGs.
Exactly.
Jeffrey, you have.
Well, what did Brian Tracy say? Brian Tracy said what somebody else said 100 years ago. And not as well.
For sure. So you've been more than generous to us. We need to find you. And Jeffrey, I want two things. Number one, help us to know the best place to find you. And then number two, I'm going to ask you to talk to the, for some reason, this guy's still hanging out here, but it's the leader who's been leading by example. I want you to break him down and kick his butt and build him back up. Do whatever you need to do to that guy. And then we'll say goodbye. So where do we find you, Jeffrey?
You can find me at Gitomer.ai. You can find me at Gitomer.com, and that's the easiest way to do it. Or you can go to my Instagram, which I think is Jeffrey Gitomer. You can go to my LinkedIn, which is just Gitomer. You can go to my YouTube channel, Jeffrey Gitomer Training. I'm easy to find. I'm very, very socially available.
Look for the guy in red.
Yeah, exactly. Look for the guy in red. Exactly. And I'm having a good time at it. And on August the 11th, I get to go to Indianapolis and watch Caitlin Clark play.
Let's go. Keep her off the
And
floor.
be paid for-
Maybe you can
and be
protect
paid
her.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's awesome. Talk to this guy that's been hanging on, and he still wants to defend his position of being the example. Break him down, build him up, do whatever you want to do with this leader.
Cool.
And then we'll say goodbye.
We let him in as a picture. Is he going to be live?
Oh, we'll just act like I'm him.
Aha. Okay, go.
Well, Jeffrey, I think being the example is the way. Like if they can't see it in me, then how are they going to know to be it? If if our company's not the example, then it's what we have to be. This is how it's just what we do.
Well, you were correct in 1973. Before the internet, before the computer, before the phone in your pocket, you're fine because you lived in your own world. Now the world has expanded a little bit and you're in a marketplace. You're in a geographic region. You may be in the world, you may be global, and other people are trying to do exactly the same thing. They're trying to lead by example. And unfortunately, it's the old way of doing it. Now, if you're going to do it, you're saying, okay, I want to be just like them. Why do you want to be like them? They have a car payment. Is that what you want?
No, I want to be different.
They want to recruit people from an employment agency instead of having people knock on the door that are qualified. They want to put a job listing out there to build their team, and they hire 3 people and fire 2. Is that what you want, or do you want qualified people to show up? And then you lead a meeting, and I'm going to ask you this one question, and this is a huge marker question. Do your people want to listen to you, or do they have to listen to you?
I feel like they're there because they have to be.
You think when
Yeah.
Steve Jobs walked into a room, people were talking to each other? Or you think they went, oh, Jobs is here. Shh, shh. He's about to speak. And so the challenge that you have is that you can't be different. You have to be better. And that better can create attraction to you. In your own company, you have to set the standard. I'm not a sales manager. I'm the best sales manager this company's ever had. When I go to the annual trade show, I'm the guy who gives the speech about how to hire, train, and retain salespeople. If you're not doing that, you're pretty much useless. Because I don't want people to walk by your trade show booth and try to put a golf ball into a hole. I want somebody to walk by your trade show booth and go, that was a really good speech. Way different. Way, way different. And so you have to look at this from the standpoint of, okay, you're in this job, you're in this business, you're in this universe, you have an opportunity. The question is, how do you take advantage of it? People think of themselves as, well, I have this career. No, it's not a career. It's an opportunity. Well, I have this job. It's not a job. It's an opportunity. And the dreaded word in any business is change. We're changing the comp plan. Well, what does that mean? That means your competition is going down, or your territory is just shrinking, or something else is happening. We're putting another person in your territory. Something stupid. Something that will guarantee lower morale. Guaranteed lower morale. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, hey, you guys, there's 5 new opportunities coming about. And I want to find out which one of you is going to take advantage of that opportunity. And don't tell me you're going to change the comp plan, because that means my compensation is going to go down. Tell me how. I want everybody to take notes, because we're going to talk about how you can make more money in this job. And that's the difference. It may be the same information, but the way you position it is going to determine its acceptance. And as a leader, not only do I say, do your people want to listen to you, or do they have to listen to you? I want to say, how are you transferring your message? So the sales manager will come on and go, oh, we have a little bit of housekeeping to do. Like, fuck you, buddy. Email me.
Right.
Fuck you, email me. I don't need you to pontificate about something that's, a new product or a new no. Just email it to me. Anything you can do in an email doesn't need to be said in a meeting. I want you to teach me, if you're the sales leader, I want you to teach me the difference between closing a sale and the outcome of a sale. Teach me that. If you even know what it is. If you even know what it is. If you, as a sales leader, if you can't make a sale where your salespeople cannot make a sale, you're toast. You need to be the best salesperson on your team. Well, I ride along with my people, every 2 weeks. Okay. Do they love you being there, or do they hate it?
So in this case, can you be the example?
No, in this case, you're setting the standard for sales.
Okay. Different, right? Okay.
Totally. You have to raise yourself up a notch.
I love it. This
Could
is
you make a video of this and have it go industry wide.
Jeffrey Gitomer, you are this right here, man. You are the expert. You've given a master class today at the frame that holds the lens, right?
Cool.
How do you frame the conversation? You framed this whole interaction with me, and you're helping others to basically to look at things not as, it's not a job, it's an opportunity. It's not a meeting. This is like, I'm going to knock your socks off, and we need to be raising the standard in all of the areas that we're interacting, because why not be a professional? Why not allow what you're doing for money to align with what you believe the most and what you speak the most? That's what a profession is.
Agreed.
And you have absolutely brought the thunder, helped us to be a force of nature.
You have to love it.
There's no other way to do it.
If it's a job for you, you can forget it.
Yeah.
You know, I love speaking. I love traveling. I love writing. I love selling. I love it. And you can tell that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my enthusiasm bleeds. And if you don't, go find something else.
Find something else.
Because you're going to raise yourself to some level of mediocrity in this thing. That's for damn sure.
Be the standard or get out. And AI can help you become the standard. You can like rethink everything and release your genius. Jeffrey, you've been super generous with us today.